What is up, my football family? I have some big, exciting news for all of you. My roster, TFGREAL2020 for Xbox One with updated 2020 transactions and every rookie from the 2020 NFL Draft is now available. Now, there's a lot to tell you guys about the intricacies of this roster, and even if you are familiar with my roster overhauls, there is a lot you're still going to have to do when you start up your franchise mode if you want the most accurate rosters for the most realistic franchise experience, because EA does not let me edit half the shit I really need to be able to edit for my custom roster. So don't go anywhere. I will tell you all about that in a little bit. But first things first, I do ask you guys, please just give me a minute of your time here. I really cannot put into words how much of a toll creating this roster twice a year has taken on me for 4 years now. Between editing ratings, moving players, creating rookies, typing out every single little move so that the PS4 team can follow suit, and dealing with the countless absolutely freaking meaningless roadblocks that EA puts on us as community roster creators, such as the inability to edit contracts, change age, development traits, among tons of other things that EA doesn't let me edit. Between all of this, I've put in roughly 200 hours of unpaid labor over the last 3 months just to get this thing into the state that it's in right now. Simply put, guys, I'm not asking for a handout. I can't wait to use the roster myself. But at my age, with a serious girlfriend, plenty of more beneficial things to spend my time on, frankly, creating this roster simply is not going to be sustainable for so much longer. Unless I do receive the right amount of donations from you guys to compensate for all of the time and stress that creating this roster has put on me for a while now. So all I ask is that as you use this roster, as you watch this video and learn about everything that goes into it, if you find yourself enjoying Madden again and can appreciate the amount of care and detail and time that I put into this thing, please look at this as a downloadable content for Madden. And please consider donating $5 or $10 to me via Venmo. My handle is at Marcus-Whitman, via PayPal at paypal.me/TFGfootball, or by signing up on my Patreon, where you'll also get exclusive content like film breakdowns and my fantasy draft board over the summer. That's patreon.com/thatfranchiseguy. All of these links are right in the description below, guys. Even if $5 or $10 is too much, if everyone who watches this video sends just $1, I can probably justify all the work that goes into this thing moving forward much more. So thank you for hearing me out. The rest of this video is going to be all about the roster. I'm going to run through how to get it, what about this roster is special and why it gives you the most immersive franchise experience, what you need to do after you download it so that it's ready to go. We talked about the stuff that I can't edit. This is what you'll have to do on the franchise end that I can't do anything about. And then how you can actually help get this roster to PS4 that I know a lot of you guys are asking about. So first off, getting this roster is quite easy. I'll show you the steps right here. From the main menu, scroll over to the settings icon, go to share and manage files, download community files, pan over to roster, download TFGREAL2020. Once it's downloaded, I do ask you take a second to rate it, and then go to load and delete files and load the roster. You have to load the thing after you've downloaded it. After this, go to franchise, select offline franchise. As long as you plan to play by yourself, which I'll explain later, create new franchise and select use active roster, and bam, you've got the file. Now, do note there's a number of frustrating errors that you may encounter when trying to download community files right now in Madden. If you do receive an error message, or the file says downloaded but does not show up in your files, or if it failed to overwrite your current copy of TFGREAL2020, go ahead and save a backup version of the roster that you do have just in case anything really wrong happens, but then delete TFGREAL2020 and try again. If it still fails, quite simply, guys, you just need to keep reloading the game and keep trying to download it. I promise it will work eventually. Sometimes I've had to try 4 or 5 reloads of the game, but it does eventually work. Very frustrating. EA is actually trying to fix this thing. They've had a ton of issues with community files. They are aware of it, but that's just the reality of where we are right now. I also do have an error file under my gamer tag uploaded right now that you can give a go as well. All right, step 2. Why use this roster? Well, I've gone in depth as to why my ratings overhaul is better for franchise mode than EA's vanilla ratings in previous videos. But to summarize again, as shown by this graph right here, I use a ratings overhaul to better simulate the challenges of team building and the true differentiation in star talent to replacement level talent that we really see on Sundays. With my roster, stars will feel like stars. You won't be able to just dip into the free agent market and pick a checkbook up and fill out your roster, as there's just a plethora of starting caliber players constantly available for you because the ratings are still just a little too inflated. The impact of losing starters to injury or a big player in free agency will be truly felt if you don't plan accordingly. Now, I've got a lot of respect, and I'm lucky enough to call Dustin and Andre, who do the ratings for EA, my friends, but the reality is they don't have the freedoms that a custom roster creator like me have. They've got a marketing team that asks for a new 99 overall player every few weeks. They have to please the NFL players because they're constantly complaining about their ratings. They have to please the competitive community. They have to be politically correct by keeping guys like Ryan Shazier as a superstar player and remove Myles Garrett's development traits because he almost murdered someone on a football field. It's not that the guys at EA are bad at talent evaluation, because they aren't. They're actually really good scouts. But the truth is, EA's roster is not specifically designed for an immersive franchise experience. And in reality, it often leads to a watered down, frankly, childish PG version of franchise mode that if you want that realist experience, you're just not going to get it. So my ratings are derived from my own evaluations as a scout and are aided by my resources as an employee with Pro Football Focus. These ratings are my own opinion, and I realize that you might not agree with each rating, but that's fine. You can either edit them yourself or kindly use another roster. Now, outside of my ratings overall and how it differs from EA's roster, this roster also comes with tons of little intricacies that you just simply are not going to find in any other custom file out there, I promise. It's impossible for me to really list them all in this video, but just to name a few, when completing transactions, I don't just release them and sign them back, because Madden's just going to sign that player for whatever their overall is at their position, which every single time is not going to be what that contract was. So I take every single step I can to get the most realistic contracts as possible. This means anyone that signed a 1-year deal, I'm moving them to punter and back, signing them to the new team so that they sign that 1-year deal. Players like Byron Jones, Amari Cooper, I'm signing them as a 99 overall quarterback and then moving their ratings back just to get them as close to the right amount of money as possible. For every single defensive player I edit, I temporarily make them a right tackle so that the editor menu will show me the impact block rating. Did you know that impact block changes the likelihood a guy ends up getting pancake blocked? Well, you want to use the other top rated roster on Xbox right now and do a Panthers rebuild? Have fun making Derek Brown a top nose tackle in the league with a 45 impact block rating. He's going to end up on his ass all the time. Oh, but do enjoy having that 3-year bargain $11.94 million contract that they've currently got Teddy Bridgewater at. I'm telling you guys, you simply are not going to get the attention to detail that you're getting with any roster anywhere else. Lastly here, I do need to quickly run down what you're going to need to do because Madden won't let me edit everything. So in the description below, right after you stop at those lovely little donation links and contribute to the cause here, you're going to see a Google Doc link. In the first tab of that document is everything you'll need to get your franchise ready to go. Now, I mentioned earlier to do an offline franchise. That is because you can save a base file. As long as you're not playing with friends, it's much better to create a base file, do all of these things, and then you can stem off of that, create a different file, and do plenty of different rebuilds off of that, so you don't have to do all this crap again. So the first thing that you're going to need to edit are, there's a bunch of contracts that I just was not able to get it to closely mirror what we're going to see in real life. So there's about 25 players in there that you will need to edit their contracts of. Next is just a list of traits and things for a lot of the rookies that I couldn't edit, such as Tua right now is a right-handed thrower, not a left-handed thrower. There's a long list of receivers and tight ends who will need the possession catch trait added because, hey, why the hell would EA expect us to want to edit a receiver's ability to perform a possession catch? Right, we don't need to do that. Lastly is my typical list of dev trait change suggestions for the entire league. And then and the one last thing you will need to do is look at this list of trades in there so that you make sure every team has the right picks that they need to have come draft time. And that's really it. I do have a couple last notes here. I do want to thank a lot of you in this community who have given me a hand with this stuff. So a shout out to David, Demetrius, Tripp, Wyatt, and College Football Guy. Thank you from me and the rest of the Madden community for your time. Lastly, the PS4 team currently busting their ass right now trying to get this thing caught up. I do not personally manage that roster, but if you would like to help, I have a link to the PS4 roster helper recruiting Discord down below. I do not have an ETA for you on the PS4 right now. I'm not doing any editing myself. However, as of this video, they have transferred all but one team's ratings and have a full blueprint that I've laid out for them as far as catching up the roster on transactions and creating rookies, but they just need man hours and help. So go talk to Alex and Shane in there about what you can do to help to bring this thing to the PS4. And the PC team is doing great work with their coding nonsense and all that stuff that I don't understand. So I think they're coming along as well. But the PS4 guys definitely need help. So enjoy the roster, everyone. Please do think about what I said as far as showing your financial support of this roster. But other than that, peace out, guys. Enjoy, and we'll see you later.